TCM invites you to see another of the essentials, the films that define what it means to be a classic.
If you ever thought that Audrey Hepburn was not a serious actor, then you haven't seen The Nun Story.
We all have our doubts.
Her name alone turned this movie into a huge success.
Pride has not been burned out of me.
The casting is so great.
It is an important cast of women. I love this movie.
From 1959, The Nun Story.
It's one of the essentials, a timeless must-see movie that has shaped generations of audiences and set standards for brilliance. Introduced by Robert Osborne and Sally Field. Coming up next, only on Turner Classic Movies. To see exclusive content and learn more about the films, go to tcm.com/essentials.
Turner Classic Movies presents Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock's landmark thriller promises to shock and frighten audiences all over again in select cinemas nationwide September 20th and 23rd only. With a specially produced introduction by TCM's Ben Mankiewicz. Tickets on sale now at fathomevents.com.
This movie is excellent on every level possible.
This is a beautiful movie with great performances in it.
Images from this film stay in my mind.
I think it's just almost like a perfect movie.
It is definitely an essential.
The Nun Story, 1959.
If anyone ever doubted that Audrey Hepburn was a serious actress, look at The Nun Story.
Fred Zinnemann only made really great movies, but this is one of the very best.
I don't think there is another movie that's even a little bit like The Nun Story.
It's a film I don't think would be made in Hollywood today.
Long before I entered the order, I had a rule of my own. All or nothing. I want to be a good nun, or you will be a good nun, Sister Luke.
Is this a favorite film of yours?
Yes.
And why?
It's incredibly powerful. It's a look at something we never, ever get to see. It's certainly a look at women in a way that we never, ever invited in to see, and that is women who become nuns or who are nuns and what they do and what that life of service is to them, what it takes to become that, what they give up. If you ever thought that Audrey Hepburn was not a serious actor, then you haven't seen The Nun Story. She is just wonderful.
Right.
She's so simple and quiet, and it's a very filled performance. I mean, she's never void from emotion. There's something going on inside of her all the time.
Dear Lord, the more I try, the more imperfect I become.
I love the cast. It is a huge and important cast of women. Edith Evans, Peggy Ashcroft, Beatrice Straight, Mildred Dunnock, and Colleen Dewhurst in a tiny role,
Right.
but one of her very first performances on film, with a man or two thrown in, which is Peter Finch and Dean Jagger.
Remember, if you ever decide this is not right for you, there's no sense of failure in coming back home.
It's a wonderful, wonderful movie, beautifully made, and I've never seen anything even sort of like it.
Mm-hmm. I think it was a very hard sell,
Yeah.
because they thought that title, The Nun Story, didn't sound very interesting. Can you imagine the hard sell it would be to get somebody to finance this movie?
Well, yeah, that's, again, I think it's one that would have to be made it would be a European picture of some form, or very independent, and if done very independently, they would not have very much money.
Right.
So
And
you
without
wouldn't have
somebody
this.
like an Audrey Hepburn connected to it,
Yeah.
you'd never get it made today.
Yeah.
What this really did, though, was establish Audrey Hepburn as a true box office giant. After this, she got, of course, My Fair Lady and so many other things based on the fact that her name alone turned this movie into a huge success.
Well, she worked so hard on
Yes.
it. They all did. I mean,
And Fred Zinnemann. I mean, we're
Right.
talking about our great directors
We're talking about a
this
great
season.
director.
You don't get better than Fred Zinnemann.
No. It's a very, very powerful piece, absolutely and completely about a part of group of women's lives that we never, ever get to see during a very specific time, which was right before the war. And it takes place in Belgium at the beginning. Audrey Hepburn, that's where she was during the war. She was Belgian-born, and she was caught there all during the war. So she said that she felt very, very connected to this piece, and it shows.
Yeah. So let's see the film Here it is, nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture of 1959. Here's The Nun story.